Hey, what's going on, everyone? So UFC 272 went down on the weekend, and I wanted to do a quick video and explore what we saw happen throughout the main event. So obviously it was Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal. Uh, First time they've ever fought. Huge beef between them. So these guys, as you guys probably already know, they used to be training partners at American Top Team. Um, there was some beef between them about Colby not paying a boxing coach who was friends with Jorge. So there was like a bit of confusion around how the pay works for that. And then Jorge took that quite personally. So the beef is real. The friendship went pretty toxic from there, and it's just spiraled downhill. There was a lot of jealousy involved. But yeah, so the beef is real. It stuck with them. They completely hate each other, and so this was a grudge match. Like they both hated each other. It was pretty evident. Um, so I mean, what I wanted to talk about was so the start. You could see what Colby's strategy was, and that's exactly what I thought it was going to be. I mean, he's like a top tier level wrestler. So I think he was Division 1 NCAA. So yeah, high level wrestler. I just like he mixes it up well, like Colby does. I mean, against Usman it was hard. Like Usman is Kamaru Usman, but he does mix it up well. He sets up his wrestling with his strikes, and then shoots. Masvidal, I mean, he's got pretty decent takedown defense, so well done Colby for that. He had the perfect strategy going in. And you can see that he's pretty good on the feet as well. Like he's not a one trick pony just wrestling. So the guys that I think he trains out of MMA Masters now. They've done a lot of work with his striking, which is yeah, it was impressive to see. I mean, he rocked Usman in his last fight, so that was interesting. Um, it was kind of interesting to me to see that he sort of half-assed went for subs. It was never really there. Um, I'm not sure what's going on there. Like, if you're that dominant wrestler, get a really good submission game like Habib. That's to be able to finish those fights. I mean, and people were complaining about he's got a boring style and everything like this. Well, you don't need to make this huge gimmick that he's got on this WWE persona. This stupid persona he's got on. Like you could have changed your style a little bit, and make a strong submission game, make it exciting, because I mean, let's be honest, like you don't really just want to see, like someone just beat them just on points. Like decision fighters aren't exciting, and especially when they're wrestling decision fighters. Like if it's a decision fighter, I mean, if you look at Israel Adesanya, I mean, like there's dynamics involved there. There's trickery. There's everything. Um, it's exciting to watch even if it's a decision. But with wrestling, it's like, okay, take them down, and if you're not a submission wrestler, you're just laying on them and bit of ground and pound. So it's really not that exciting. But it's effective. But I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, he was about to get cut. I mean, so yeah, it is what it is. So I don't know why he's not really good at subs. I don't think he's gotten a submission win for quite a while. But it was quite evident that he didn't know where to go. I mean, there was like Kimuras, there was all sorts to go for on the ground. If he could develop that, he would be like fucking so good. He already is really good. He's just got this douchey persona. If it's a persona, he says that he's just taking it up to like level 100, which would mean that he thinks all this stuff. He just never voiced it before. So, I mean, if he's actually being real, and he believes in all this shit, then and it's not a persona, then fuck, like you're a bit of a dick. But anyway, and I do agree with Dan Hooker's statement that he should be held accountable. Colby should definitely be held accountable, whether it's a gimmick or not. You can't be talking this kind of shit and not be held responsible for your decisions. Like it's pretty shit, some of the stuff he's saying. But I do believe under all that he's a good guy. Like I do believe it. You've seen snippets of it. I do believe he is a character. He's playing a character. I want to talk about Jorge's strategy. Like it was no disrespect to Jorge, but it was a pretty piss poor strategy. Like Colby's an NCAA level 1 Division 1 wrestler. Like, he's gonna take you down. He his wrestling was just not on point. And I mean, kudos to him. He said that. His takedown defense held up a little bit, but it was just a pretty poor performance from Masvidal. I mean, and that's 3 on the trot. He's lost now, so you know, he doesn't have a great record regardless, but he's made that comeback. You know, he beat Darren Till and he beat obviously Ben Askren in the fastest knockout ever. But yeah, I was pretty disappointed. You know, there was just no urgency from him. He sort of just given up. I would have been working on wrestling from a long time. Like, someone said in a comment, like, you know that you want to fight this guy for the last few years. Like, I would just be like, I'll be wrestling my ass off to try and get a little bit better, just to keep it on the feet, you know, because that's where he was better. Like, so I was quite disappointed. It's just becoming more evident that wrestling is the foundation of MMA. Like, you can get away with not being a BJJ submission artist. If you're a good wrestler, you can nullify that and just keep in position and just ground and pound. And then if you learn a few subs from top, from bottom, from side control, like basic subs, you know, like your triangle, your rear naked choke, just those kind of basic subs, Kimuras and stuff from different positions, like just practicing that. You know, as Bruce Lee said, fear not the man who knows 1,000 kicks, but the person that's kicked 1,000 times. It would just be the same thing. Like, have the basic subs from a wrestling foundation and just repeat them, just rinse and repeat. You'd just be so strong in the wrestling position, you could just lock those in. These are just my thoughts. But yeah, I don't know, like, you really, people are saying like Darren Till, you know, he's gone to wrestle at the All Stars gym with Hamzat, and that's a great idea, like, great, but shit, how long is it gonna, like, you can't just do a few months of wrestling with, you know, some like amazing wrestlers and then become like this great wrestler. It doesn't work like that. Like, these guys have been wrestling their whole lives. They have residual strength. This is just me talking from a sports science background. They have residual strength in those positions. You can't just do 2 months or 3 months of wrestling with the best and be really any better. Of course you're going to be better, but that's going to take years of, it's a cardio system that you develop, and that strength in those positions. I mean, you need to be implementing wrestling. Like, honestly, MMA guys, like, wrestling is going to be the cornerstone, the foundation of everything here. Yeah, it gives them more to think about. I mean, and this just actually makes you, sorry, I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent, makes you realize how fucking good Israel Adesanya is, because he doesn't use offensive wrestling in his fights, and he's still beating everyone. Like, against Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker couldn't beat him, and he had the offensive wrestling up his in his arsenal. Like, and Israel doesn't. Like, that's how fucking amazing Israel Adesanya is. He beats all these people with just one element, which is striking. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what Jorge's strategy was or anything like that, it was pretty piss poor to me, but oh well. He owned it, and leading into the interview, you know, he said his wrestling was pretty not on point, and he gave kudos to Colby for being like a great wrestler. Their beef is obviously not squashed, and it's still happening, which is quite sad to see. I really just don't want to see UFC go down a shitty path where it's just all like people making up characters like the WWE. Like, fuck, I don't want to see that. Like, I tune in to watch exciting fights and exciting fighters without all the bullshit behind it. Like, everyone tuned in to watch GSP, you know, like all these amazing fighters and stuff like that. Like, the shit talk wasn't really part of it. Like, I mean, you know, like Brock Lesnar shit talk, that was all good. There was nothing personal about it. It was just good old fashioned shit talk. But now it's just gone to a whole nother level, and it's just to satisfy the masses, the casuals, really. But oh well. Yeah. Let me know what you think about that, and yeah, make sure you drop a comment in the comments below.